it's Sarah here. I am going to go and evaluate Jessica's lesson, and so I kind of wanted just to annotate it like we did in class. So I was going to watch it and make my comments as we go. So I just started the lesson. She is doing one about the man and where the mountain meets the moon. So I'm watching the lesson. She has great information with the spelling and the steps, so the students are clearly identifying what they need. The observations that she has about the lesson. She shows the classroom. I like the desks are arranged in a circle so each student has the ability to see each other and also interact with each other in a positive way. So this sets a really positive classroom management style. She's got the learning goals on the wall. Her room isn't overly, I would say, cluttered or decorated, which I think is good for students with ADHD, knowing that you gotta kind of watch that stuff because it can be grab the attention away from the students. Her do now. Still watching the video. She's taking attendance, and you can see some of the kids are actually distracted or not paying attention, doing what they're supposed to be doing. I think this is an interesting observation. During attendance times, it is difficult to keep the students engaged while you have to focus separately. This is kind of a struggle with everybody. What are you going to do? So knowing that these kids are not necessarily on task is something that she can improve. One suggestion I would make is to kind of have goals. They need to read 3 pages and then write a brief summary or pick up the keynotes, or maybe even take one sentence on page 37, 4th paragraph, identify it, and figure out how to make how to paraphrase the sentence. So that could be just kind of more of a directed task versus an indirected task such as reading. I'm noticing in her video that she's now giving directions. So when she gives the directions, she gives clear directions and expectations for the students. She has great with-itness in the classroom where she's walking around, she's not stagnant. Obviously, this is a very student-centered classroom versus a teacher-centered classroom with the layout of the desks and her presence in it. So she goes and she actually goes to the physical place to each center, and she describes each center and what they are doing specifically, and then shows what's going on. This is great for auditory and visual learners, so both of them can see. By showing the example of what they are supposed to do, she has set high expectations for her class. As she goes through and she describes each center, I noticed that the centers are in a circular pattern so that there is easy flow for all the students. We did talk about flow a couple weeks ago in the classroom and classroom management. It looks like the way that her centers are set up that the flow can go easily and that the students know where they're supposed to be. I did notice her centers are labeled 1, 2, 3, etc. I didn't know if that was strategic because the kids just need a simple order, or if she wanted to have a little bit of fun and they could have different characters from the book so they could reuse the vocabulary from the book or characters from the book to reinforce what is being understood. She just released the students to go work at the centers. I do kind of have to giggle because she gave all these great instructions and everyone listened so incredibly well. You can see she has excellent classroom management skills. Nobody is talking while she's talking. They're all paying attention. Their heads are following her as she walks around. But as she finishes it up, it's kind of an abrupt go. Thinking of if she could implement the word of the day at that point. I don't know the levels and the appropriateness if this would be for that group, but you could do the word of the day at the beginning of the day, introduce the word of the day, so when she wants those students to move or do a different transition, it could be used as a transitional method in her classroom. I like how at each center, she was able to modify the lesson per the development of the students. So in the spelling lessons, she had different lists for the kids that they could go to. And then I'm looking at her reading when she was reading with the students. She put these kids into heterogeneous groups. So they were all at the same kind of ability, or they were different abilities, but she could support these students where they needed support. So this is a great way to differentiate in the classroom. Jessica is currently sitting with her groups in a center on the floor. I like the fact that she has movement in the classroom and some free choice with learning. She looks like she's working on a graphic organizer. One suggestion I would have is she could have a whiteboard with her, and when the kids wanted to know how to spell things, she could write on the whiteboard, Minley, M-I-N-L-Y, whatever it was one of the students had asked. So that would be something for audio, for visual learners and audio learners, that they could have both ways, not just the hearing sound. So that was just a suggestion. Overall, I think Jessica did a very good job with it. I think she implemented standards 1, 2, and 3 very well in her classroom. You can tell that she has a very positive relationship with these students, that they trust her, that they feel safe in the environment. I like that it is a student-centered classroom. This is very obvious with the center. Additionally, students knew where to get the supplies needed for the lesson, and the norms were really established that they could function in that way, that the norms became the procedures and everything ran together. I would definitely think that her lesson would be ranking within the 4s, and she did an excellent job on her lesson. Way to go! Bye.